So in the spirit of my last video of talking about how to warm up for like bench and stuff, we're going to be talking about like deadlifts and squat warm up kind of thing. So like different types of stretches that I do personally, and also some people do as well, to just like warm up and hopefully become less injury, prone and everything. So for like squats and deadlifts, the common theme is they both use legs. No shit. But typically it depends on what kind of stance you're using, because I tend to find a lot of people who go sumo with any squat or deadlift typically have more issues with their hip flexors, and people who usually do like a more narrow stance on squats get knee pain. Now, this can be vice versa either way, but I found that's what typically happens. But in today, I'll be just like talking about how I warm up and how other people warm up. So we'll get straight into it. So the first little dynamic stretch that I do for my legs, if I don't hit myself on this home bench that costs like £30, basically I'm gonna try and like lift my legs, so like basically like leg swings. Of course I'm not going full because I literally have zero fucking room, so swinging my leg back and forth, this activates the hip flexor and stuff, and it just like warms it up. And then there's this one where you go side to side. Of course, I'm not going as high as I usually would because there's a literal bench there. And also here, it's like you can barely see it. So I do those to warm up my hip flexors. Typically they work, just trying to loosen them off because they can be a bit stiff after a while, especially if you're sitting down for extended periods of time. But I typically find they help, and I really do like the warm-ups because it's helped with my own problem of my own hip flexor. And yeah, really, that's basically the two dynamic stretches I kind of do. And then I do stretches, so like just normal stretches. Typically I would, get on the ground and just like kind of, I don't know if you can see this, but try and put you down as possible. So try and face you downwards. I typically stretch out my pelvis. So stretching out my pelvis, stretching out my hamstring as well, and my adductor. And I just find it makes it more relaxing, the movement, just way more relaxing for squats. And yeah, just like, stretching out those muscles that will be activated, therefore more relaxed and better, really. Sometimes I, get a bit like this, so it's slightly elevated, and I, pop my leg on there and stretch my adductor, because especially when I'm, doing a sumo squat, which technically is my kind of stance, but also with sumo deadlifts, you stretch out your adductor so it's like more activated through the movement, because when you're doing a sumo deadlift, you are basically clenching your legs together. So like you're clenching like you're in prison. I don't know anything about that, totally. So some people do like a split squat thing where they just go down and it stretches this bit here, so this hip flexor bit. I don't do that because I tend to find with me being on the floor and just stretching out my leg that way, stretching out my pelvis, it typically does that anyway. Some people, I think I'd have to put you a bit further back for this, hopefully. Everything. It's like where I keep adjusting this. So on the floor, some people literally just do, I don't know if you can see, you just have to be slightly further down, where they go like that to that. So like it's warming up their hips and stuff like that. Some people do that, I've found, and I'll bring you back over here. But yeah, and then basically for deadlifts it's kind of the same, because you're using your hip flexors, you're using all sorts, but I tend to find on your first like kind of set, if you do like more of a stiff leg deadlift, you're stretching out those hamstrings and it feels way better. And also it gets those hamstrings activated, which are a primary source of the movement as well. So by doing like a, just a stiff leg up and down, either with the bar or 220s on each side or something, I don't know where your standpoint is, but typically stuff like that would get you nice and warmed up. Now for people with like knee pain comes from a variety of things. So like, might just be genetic disease, or might be too much stress on the tendons and the tendon organs. So most people like to warm up their muscles beforehand. So instead of doing a squat first, they do leg extensions or they do hamstring curls, supporting muscles that help during a squat. So if I was dealing with knee pain and I did extensions, like a couple of them, like 3 sets of just, going moderately hard, like 80%, and just warming them up, and then going into squats. Yeah, it may feel a bit shit on the first time because you feel less strong, but it may help with your knee pain. I mean, sometimes with hamstrings, it might be the same. Like, you do hamstrings, which also go in the movement as well. But it may help, it may not. Yet again, if it's severely hurting, I'd recommend seeing a doctor. Like I always say during these videos, I'm not a full professional yet. I'm on the course to being a full professional, but it's certainly some recommendations I would typically say to someone. But yet again, it's all my preference, and that's the beauty of lifting. But anyway, for this video, it is push and pull. So we got squats, we got bench, and we got deadlifts alongside chest, triceps, and back and biceps. So basically everyone's favorite. But yeah, week 2, 3, no fucking clue. I think it's week 2. Yeah, week 2. So week 2, and yeah, we'll get to see what I'll be able to put up. So that'll be fun. And yeah, basically just a bit of a, educational commentary before going straight into the video. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. So starting off the push day with 190, just regular squat, and then we'll go down to 160 regular squat. So as I said last week, it's a bit of like a run back of the 3 rep max, a bit of my like blocks and stuff, because 1, I could have done better on squat, and 2, I couldn't deadlift on the day that I was supposed to be deadlifting. So just running it back and gonna definitely see where I go. It's best not to give up on these things, because I do believe lifting in the gym makes me happier, makes me a better person and stuff like that. So why quit it because of a bad situation? So yeah, just like building up to it again, and gonna see what I'll be able to squat and deadlift, because anything can change. Like I could, go up in strength or go down in strength. It totally depends, because 206, I was a bit of a, when I squatted 206 for free, it was kind of like, yeah, I could have done 207 pretty easily, or 210 at probably my max. But when it comes to squat, I'm a lot more, focused on getting the momentum to do the 1 rep max, which
you know, helps with getting, yeah, you know, stronger and stuff. But I could also see it as like, you know, because I've learned a lot from injuring my like hip flexor and stuff. I don't really want to go full send on movements that I've previously hurt myself on, but I can definitely go near enough full send to the point where I'm not going to hurt myself. So it's just about like thinking where to line myself up, and yeah, I think 207 or 210 will be in the books in the coming 2 weeks or 3 weeks, shall I say? But yeah, we'll have to see. Now for bench press. Yeah, again, if you're new, I do squat with a belt on, but that's because I hyperextend my back and I basically push my back into the bench, and the belt prevents that. As well as it just like reminds me to keep my arse on the bench. So it's a matter of preference. It doesn't actually really do anything for overall numbers and stuff, but I do get looks, but I don't really give a shit, seeing as, you know, I'm trying to lift at my best of my ability, and when it comes to injuring myself, I'm pretty prone over the last year, as I've found. So by belting up my, you know, my lower back, I'm able to prevent a lower back, you know, injury, or, you know, hyperextension, which it could lead to, you know, my discs going or something like that. All depends, but I get it because it's not really that much weight. Like, it's not 4 plates or 3 plates, but for me, it gets me used to it, for one, and two, you know, I prefer it anyway because I feel more secure. But yeah, overall bench went fairly well. You know, just regular bench, just pausing at the bottom, trying to control that, you know, control the reps, and yeah, I found by pausing, you know, it is a bit harder, but it is competition standard, and I feel, you know, more confident with my lifts. So hopefully the 140, a 145 that that is currently my max, will be paused by hopefully by you know, the next 2 blocks, so this one and the next. So yeah, I may be 20 doing what, 145 or more, but in my personal opinion, if you are training very hard and, you know, you put your heart into it, doesn't really matter what age you've managed to achieve certain weights at, because I can tell you this from experience, there'll always be someone better than you regardless of where you come from. Like, I used to you know, bench quite a bit, I used to squat quite a bit, but until you know, those injuries, I was kind of shit. And then my deadlift exceeded expectations, and then, you know, things happen in life and you just gotta, you know, push through. But anyway, now onto some more bench volume with incline press, going a bit further with a 1.5 on the end. Now, I'm a bit more precise because I like, you know, adding more progressive overload rubbish, and I definitely like pushing myself, you know, so I can get not only stronger but bigger. So hopefully this, like, you know, pushes me even a bit further, and I get it, it's only like a small amount of weight, but at the end of it, it adds up, and you'll find very much in training that little 1 kilo might make the difference, because if you are not progressing, try with like 5 plates, 2.5s, you might as well go a bit, you know, bit down. Maybe 1 kilo might be a little bit of an increase, because, you know, these little increases will add up over time, and trust me, they definitely do, because I've found by, you know, just adding little things like 1.25 on each side, It's definitely helped with, you know, not only confidence in the movement itself, but also, you know, gaining more strength and pushing it a bit further. Because, I mean, it's a matter of preference at the end of the day, but I like doing, you know, little increments because, you know, it definitely helps, because I've felt a lot more confident in the recent times of doing little increments now and again. So we will get there eventually. So, but yeah, all that's done, and now on to flies, which is a movement that I had to share with somebody, which I'll be honest, I don't really like sharing in the gym, but I know this guy, but he just, it's also another pet peeve, people not trying, because people who don't try honestly annoy me, and I think they're a kind of a waste in the gym in a way, but each their own. You know, you're here to work out, but some people just don't work out, they just try a bunch of rubbish and then don't even do the exercise that they say they're training, and you have to actually physically push them to do the exercise, which I had to do with this lad that's only what, a year or two younger than me. So yeah, I'm kind of like the Master Oogway of this gym for all these kids that are like, what, 17, because honestly, being 19 and just looking at the effort levels of these kids is like, I swear I wasn't that much of a bitch when I was younger. So yeah. But anyway, flies felt alright, you know, and yeah, I just locked the fuck in, so I got a good pump anyway, you know. I felt like I got some fucking knockers on me, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, everything is typically going well now. So, but anyway, onto some triceps, doing some single arm push down. I only do that for this day, so like I only did single arm push down on this day specifically, which I should have done a lot more, but that was because I was on a time constraint, and the lad that I was on, the lad that I was with on the cables was taking forever. So you know, with that in mind, it just like, you know, it's kind of like you know, I had to just push myself as far as I could with what I had, and then yeah,
How to catch a predator.
it is what it is. I'm not really mad at it, but yet again, I would prefer to actually work out sometimes and, you know, get my reps in and stuff. But if I wasn't like distracted by some idiots, I'd probably have done like tricep extension and like push down, because with the push down on this cable, it's kind of too easy. So by doing a single arm and then probably doing extensions, I'd have got enough you know, stimulation by doing that. So, but anyway, yeah, that'll be all for me talking for this workout, and then we'll go on to the pull day, which will be me deadlifting and doing back and biceps. And yeah, enjoy the posing and shit, which yeah, I'm in my full element of being a hairy bastard. So yeah, enjoy. Now on to deadlifts, pull day, doing 210. It was fairly easy, you know, nothing really special, but then went on to 175, felt pretty easy. No complaints, honestly. Today, that day felt pretty good. But yeah, hopefully deadlifts start to ramp up back again, because I think they kind of fell off in the last month. So hopefully, you know, going back to it and, you know, putting more, putting more maximum output and stuff. So hopefully by the end of this block I'll be able to triple 230, which is kind of like the end goal, and hopefully I do get it, because I know in my mind I can fully get that, and it won't be that much of a push. But I think on the day that I, you know, couldn't really deadlift properly, I think I must have been ill, because, you know, I just didn't feel like myself. So hopefully in future that won't happen, but yet again the future is unpredictable. But in anywho, after all that, we went on to Pendlay rows. I did a few sets of this, but yeah, my computer doesn't like my GoPro, which is a common theme on this channel, that I do typically lose a lot of videos of myself, because my computer just honestly hates my camera, which I'm too broke to get a new one. So you're gonna have to deal with the less amount of content, but it is what it is. But yeah, did some Pendlay rows, felt pretty good, get that power in, and yeah, I'd say Pendlay rows definitely do help, especially with you know, off the floor, because you are technically bracing yourself and pulling it up to your chest. So it does, you know, kind of do that, but in a different way. But anyway, on to basically single arm pull downs. I did these, I was trying to do these to, you know, even out my lats, because my physio said your lats look uneven and stuff like that. So I wanted to, you know, trying to even them out, but after like 2 sets, I was like, I ain't feeling shit. This like single arm lat pull down, I just don't feel anything. So after doing like 2 sets of single arm pull downs on each side, I was just like, oh fuck this, and, you know, went to double arm pull down, which I can definitely say feels a lot better. So but yeah, I'd like a look at my own back, and I thought, yeah, it does need a bit of work in terms of, you know, thickness and stuff like that, but that comes with time, the muscle maturity and stuff. So with due time, my back will get thicker and stuff like that, and hopefully wider. You never know, I might you know, grow a good set of wings, because I don't know if it's like, you know, my heavily criticizable brain, but you know, sometimes I don't think my back looks as good as people say. So I like try and improve it. But yeah, when it comes to light exercise, I won't usually do like 3, which I'm probably gonna have to do here. Well, which I did. Kinda. So like I did my lat pull downs, and then I went on to lat pullovers straight after. But I think that was just because I couldn't feel my lats. So typically I'd do a bit more if I couldn't feel them and stuff. I couldn't feel them actually contracting and stuff. But I think that's all in the mind anyway. So but lat pull downs felt okay, and then went straight on to lat pullovers to you know, finish them off. With lat pullovers, I typically because with lat pull down I wait a bit and then I drop the weight and then do the set, drop the weight a bit and then do the set. That's like kind of how I do it to like save time and, you know, go through the motions. And then with lat pullovers, as you see, I'll just do like a drop set, which I just like press record, do it, and then, you know, keep going. So like these are just like back-to-back sets that you'll see. So you know, it's just adding that bit more intensity, which is always good for growth. And also time management. Like if you don't have the time, which a lot of people do not, drop sets definitely save you time because you can get a lot of reps out, but also, you know, go straight into it, back to back kind of thing. But I'd suggest giving like 10 seconds or 30 seconds and then going straight into it. But I'd say it definitely works. I mean, it works for so many bodybuilders and stuff. So take it from a person who's been doing the gym for like a year and a half, 2 years and a half now. So yeah, pretty good. Anyway, onto some rows, some, you know, cable rows. I prefer cable rows in my personal opinion to machine rows where you're chest supported. I get it with chest supported, you have that stability, but also you have that limiting factor where you do go to failure and then you just can't get the weight up. I find with cable rows it's a lot better because you have that flexibility of doing what you want. Now I like lean back and like lean into my you know, traps and stuff, and I like row straight into my traps and then let go. But once the movement gets hard, I can also use the momentum to get a bit of it up and then go a bit further with that movement. So hence why I like the cable row over machine rows, but also because people take the machine rows a lot. So I barely go on them anyway. So but yeah, with all that said and done, we'll be moving on to biceps, which will be next. But yeah, then we will see. But yeah, it'll be preach curls and then like incline dumbbell curls that I do, and then posing at the end, of course, because we got to show the absolute caucasity I behold. Because trust me, if you were to shine a light on me, I'd fucking reflect the light itself. I could actually bend light, you know, turn it into rainbows and stuff. So but yeah, that's pretty much the workout. You just got your preachers and then incline because the cables weren't free and it was quite a busy day. So I mean, just find these alternatives, you know, because not every machine is free, and you shouldn't be wasting time just waiting for something for like half an hour. So I'd definitely recommend having like different, you know, alternatives if say a machine you want is unavailable. So just a bit of advice. But yeah, after all this, you know, felt pretty good and, you know, stuff. But we will see how the weeks go on and, you know, see where this possibly goes. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of the video.